我今天很荣幸的和大家面前就是可以跟你分享一下我这2位经典的老师他们是我们的，一共我们每一年，刚刚罗老师也说了，我们每一年有选出4个年度的老师然后他们是这2位美女是代表我们的。So my first question, and I'll ask both of you, but first we'll start with Chelsea. Why did you want to be an online tutor, and why did you choose to work with Allo7?
I first decided to become an online tutor after I had had my first child, and I was looking into going back into the workforce. Prior to that, I had worked in a Chinese enrichment school in America.
美国也有补习班，他之前就是美国补习班的老师就是教中国的孩子在美国。不好意思，我补充一下。
So I felt a connection to this opportunity. I saw this great opportunity to teach Chinese students in their homes, and I found a great connection to that, being that my previous job was working with Chinese children, and I had had such a wonderful experience. So I wanted to continue with teaching, and I wanted to explore something new, so this was an excellent opportunity. I was immediately attracted to Allo7 because of the amazing courseware, beautiful graphics, something very attractive to children. I have an art background, so I was also attracted to the imagery, and I found that as I explored the courseware, I found that the learning materials were excellent, particularly for elementary age group. So I felt immediately at home and wanted to continue.
Great, thank you very much. And Lauren, same question. So why did you choose to do online tutoring, number 1, and then number 2, why did you choose to work with Allo7 when you have so many options in front of you?
Sure, absolutely. Well, when I moved from a major city to the countryside, I wanted to stay more in my home area, and I come from an English and printing background. Since I was very young, I've loved English, I've loved reading, and I've loved working with children and teaching as well. So it was something that really worked well with the lifestyle that I wanted to have, as well as the occupation that I enjoyed. Another thing too is I love the international aspect of it. I think it really is excellent for the future to be able to reach across the sea every day to work with these amazing students. It's just such a wonderful opportunity, and I think the reason that I chose Allo7 over the other companies is that Allo7 gives us the opportunity to focus on teaching, to provide very high quality teaching, whereas some other companies there's a sales aspect to the job, but with the business to business model, you really have support on all sides. You have the sales team doing sales, so you have the professionals doing what they choose, you have the teachers teaching. Everyone is sort of in the right place. I agree with Chelsea. I was also very attracted to the courseware. It's very dynamic. I love that they have their own characters, and especially that it grows with the students. Even the characters change as you go through the different lessons with the children. So you'll see your students changing before your eyes. They'll lose teeth, they'll grow, they'll have a baby brother and sister, and so do the characters in the courseware. I mean, Lele has an older sister, so it's really fun to see the students growing and the courseware growing together, and to spend time with those students.
Thank you both for your answers. Yeah. We're happy that you chose Allo7 as well, obviously. So before Chelsea, you were a teacher of or Chinese students, but also American students in America. And so what do you find different about teaching students here that are located in China versus teaching students that are, in the States?
So obviously there's a difference in teaching online. The classroom management aspect is actually much nicer on the teacher because there's a screen. But in terms of what's different about Chinese students in China rather than Chinese students in America or American students in America, I really feel there's a very high level of focus. Chinese students have a much slower burnout rate. American students tire easily. So you need to take many breaks in an American classroom. I feel that Chinese students have a very high level of focus and an enormous capacity for memorization, which really aids in learning a new language and learning new vocabulary. I'm always impressed at their level of devotion and dedication to their education. And the other component is the parent involvement. The parent involvement is really key to the child's success. And I frequently see parents or grandparents attending the class with the children, which also helps the teacher in terms of management and helping the student to succeed.
Great. And how do you like teaching English to Chinese students, Lauren?
I love teaching English to Chinese students. I agree, their academic stamina is leaps and bounds above American students, and so
we're in trouble.
That's really fast. Yeah, exactly. So that is always very fascinating. But really, the main thing is I love breaking down those cultural barriers of saying, we can talk to one another. Please ask me questions, which is something that usually surprises those students. But in years to come, when those students are out in the world conducting business, they'll know how to speak to foreigners, they'll know how to speak to Americans as well as other people from around the world without that barrier, without worrying about what will happen, because they'll have practiced so often with us. So I really think that that's exciting, working with Chinese students and giving them that opportunity, as well as learning from them. I think that it's really a two-way street. I've learned how to interact with them as well, and they've really taught me so much that's enriched my life. We have more similarities than we have differences, and it's so fun to share that with them and learn what makes them tick or makes them excited about life as well.
Thanks, both of you. So next, what is your view on the future of online tutoring in general? And I'll ask both of you, but let's start with Chelsea.
I think that possibilities are endless. My background is in teaching fine arts, and I can see this working in a fine arts category as well. I can see that, especially for higher education, this is definitely the future. The convenience, the ability to learn from someone across the world, there's no limit. Mm-hmm.
And how about you, Lauren?
I think there are really two parts that make online education so appealing. The first, of course, is that before you were so limited into your geographic area, and you couldn't find that right teacher, that perfect fit that works with your teaching style. Chelsea and I have different teaching styles, as well as so many other tutors have different teaching styles, and you can really find the tutor who works well with your child or with your student. But beyond that, I think the most exciting thing about online education is that it gives students a chance to practice actual conversation. From an anecdotal point of view, when I was a student, I learned Spanish. I learned Spanish through grade school, high school, and college. I never spoke with a native Spanish speaker. I had the vocabulary, I had the grammar. The first time I spoke with a native Spanish speaker, I said, and I didn't know what to say. But because these students have both the tools as well as the practical use, the practical conversational knowledge, they really have both pieces of the puzzle in terms of learning education. So the perfect fit, finding someone around the world, as well as the opportunity to practice to the level that they need.
Well, I think that's the whole point of why we started doing this, is because we wanted to give the students the opportunity to speak with somebody, to show them that language is more than just for test taking. It's actually something they can use, and we really want to develop that for the future. So you both are shining examples of that. So, I mean, take, for example, China. We have 1.3 billion people here. There's a ton of people, and every day, you think about it, public schools, after-school programs, there's so many classes going on. Do you ever think that there will be more classes going on online than there will be offline? Chelsea?
I think absolutely. I think the convenience for the students, for the parents, particularly, I see in China that parents are very busy, and so this is one less place you have to take the kid to. The convenience of it is, I think, will lead to more and more. I think eventually, yes, the education will move to this platform.
How about you, Lauren?
Well, I think that eventually there will be many, many more online classes, but I don't think it will be all foreign-based. We met some amazing Chinese teachers here, so I think what may happen in the future is that the students meet with these amazing Chinese teachers. They learn the fundamentals. They learn the building blocks to start their language learning journey. And then a short time later, they'll switch meeting rooms, they'll switch screens, and they'll meet with that native online teacher. Another thing, too, about online education that we haven't discussed so far is the opportunity for teachers to collaborate, not just the students. They'd be able to make this customized approach with our students to talk with the offline teachers. Well, one day they will also be the online teachers, but now they're the offline teachers. So the traditional Chinese teachers as well as the online tutors to really give these students the tools that they need to succeed in their career or whatever they may choose to do in life. Even if it's not a career, even if it's just a vacation, even if it's just meeting people and spending time. Think of how their anxiety will be reduced when they reach the workplace, reach the world, and are able to communicate effectively. I think it's so important that they have both dynamics. But yeah, I think online education will definitely be the future of education. So there's not so much time in between of transport, as Chelsea said.
Also, I'd like to add one thing we haven't talked about is the dynamic in the online classroom between the designed classroom, the online classroom, who is in the class, what students are working together. So that has a great potential also. If you could pick a partner, a student partner with different strengths and weaknesses than yours, you will gain so much insight from that.
我刚刚说的我不会讲中文，但是我还是要重置，就是他刚刚说的这个重点，我觉得是非常必须要重复的，而且必须要有翻译的。我们原来打算把老师，因为不同的老师适合教了不同的个性的、不同的行为、不同年龄段的孩子，可能比较蹦蹦跳、比较活泼的老师比较适合低幼端的，然后比较严格，他比较适合教这些高年龄段的所以我们就可以通过人工智能去判断这个孩子他的行为、他的等等的个位度，然后匹配老师就是最适合。但是他刚刚提的这个建议是我们不至于可以匹配老师，我们还可以匹配你的同事如果这个孩子他比较害羞，他不敢开口，但是他跟另外一个小朋友是不是会配合的比较好？他就敢讲，或是他敢说出多一点的话，这个也是另外一个维度。我到现在我还没有考虑，但是这个也是另外一个维度，我们可以考虑。好，所以我们都是互相学习的，因为他们是当前就是老师，然后他会有很多这些反馈给到我们的总部，然后我们就会把他们的意见就落地，然后提供给你们的课堂。因为他们刚刚有提到，我只有最后1分钟，所以我再问一个问题So we have 1 minute left, so I'm going to ask one last question. But I just thought your idea was fantastic, not only to match the teachers and the teaching style with the right students, but to match the right students with the right students, to put them in the same class. I think that's a great idea. And I was telling them that it's really nice to have people who are on the front lines teaching that are able to give us feedback, and we can input that and put that into our entire kind of product offering to their students. So they're both mothers. Chelsea, you have a daughter, correct?
Yes.
And how old is she?
3 years old.
3 years old. So she has a 3-year-old daughter. And Lauren, you have 3 children, is that right?
I do. A 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 5-year-old. Yeah.
And they're boys, girls?
2 boys and 1 girl.
2 boys and 1 girl. So my last question, what is your favorite age to teach? And I'll start with Lauren.
Okay. Well, my favorite age to teach is interestingly an age that none of my children have reached. But I think that 10-year-olds reach this golden age of learning because they're still young enough that they're not inhibited, but they're old enough that their level of learning is so much higher. They can understand so much, they can speak quickly, they absorb the information very quickly, but they're not teenagers, so they don't have that distraction of turning into an adult, essentially. So they're still children, but they're high-level children, they're high-level students. They're not afraid to be silly, though, so I really like that in my classroom.
And how about you, Chelsea?
My favorite age group is 6 to 7 years old. They have a small vocabulary, so there's a lot of room for improvement, and everything's new, so it's very exciting for me to teach. I like to use a lot of props, and I like to be very animated, and so we have a good time and a lot of smiling and laughing.
That's actually, those two are, I guess, from about 6 until 10 years old. That's my favorite too. You no longer have to wipe their nose and wipe them and clean them up, but then they're also not old enough to where they're like, oh, 我不要听老师, you know, like they're too cool for school. So I really like that from about 6 until 10. That's the perfect age for me too. Well, we're out of time. I really want to, from the bottom of the hearts of everyone at Allo 7 and all of our partner schools, we really want to say thank you so much for making Allo 7 and all of our classes the most wonderful classes that they can be. And I really hope that we have a lot more classes to come in the future. So can you all join me in giving them a big round of applause? Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us here. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for us as well.
Thank you very much, and thank you for letting us be in your beautiful city.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they've seen a lot of Shanghai. Next time we'll take them to Beijing. Okay, thank you guys very much, and thank you all. Appreciate it.
We're Allo 7, we're singing it out. We're teaching leaders, we're teaching lessons.